After getting delayed before formally being announced with a release date, Crysis for the Nintendo Switch now appears to be coming out on July 23rd yet again. Phil Spencer says some interesting things about the video game industry that has a lot of people disagreeing with him, and finally, there's even more signs of a Nintendo Direct coming in July now, but I'm not quite so sure. What's going on, guys? I'm RGT85. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, but without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games. So Crysis Remastered has been one of the strangest game announcements and reveals of 2020 thus far, and just sort of shows you sort of the situation the world is in right now, where things can ever change. So Crysis Remastered was of course first unveiled a few months ago with a little bit of a teaser trailer, and then a listing for the game popped up on the Microsoft Store with the July 23rd release date. Crysis then hyped up that there would be a reveal event of this game where they would be showcasing a trailer and giving that July 23rd release date. Well, right before the whole announcement was supposed to happen, a trailer for Crysis Remastered actually leaked online the day before, and a lot of people didn't seem to enjoy what they saw from this game. Well, Crysis ended up hearing the feedback from this, and right before their presentation was supposed to go live, they delayed it, and they also delayed the game. The game was originally supposed to come out on July 23rd for the PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, but they decided that due to fan backlash and based on what they saw in this trailer, they were going to delay the announcement and delay the game, which is fine. You know, if people are not happy with what you're doing, then that's cool. You know, I totally understand it. It did kind of suck because I've never played the first Crysis game and I was looking forward to playing it, but I do understand it. But now it appears that Crysis isn't delayed for all systems, and it's actually coming out on the Nintendo Switch first. Yesterday, the Crysis Twitter account tweeted out the following. Crysis fans, you may have seen our last update about the Crysis Remastered release, and we have good news for you. We can confirm that Crysis will still be coming to the Nintendo Switch on July 23rd. Watch this space for further updates. So the one version of the game that's probably going to be the most polarizing version of the game, the Nintendo Switch version, is still coming out on July 23rd. Now, there was some bit of controversy surrounding that whole thing when it was first announced, because of course the game went up for pre-order on the Nintendo Switch right before they did their announcement, and unfortunately they weren't able to sort of do refunds for that July 23rd release date, which is of course due to how the Nintendo Switch eShop is set up. So now it seems like instead of just delaying the game for the Nintendo Switch, they're just going to release it on July 23rd, and I guess that's a good thing in some regards. Obviously you'll be able to play this game before the other platforms, but does that mean that they couldn't really fix the Nintendo Switch version of Crysis Remastered? Now, Saber Interactive is the company that is doing this remastered, and really they've done some great work on the Nintendo Switch thus far. Of course, games like Witcher 3 and Ghostbusters the video game remastered definitely stick out in my mind as some of their top-notch work. So I think the quality of the game will be pretty good, but it's just a very strange situation. I've never seen a game get delayed before it was officially announced anyways, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, the game isn't delayed, we're still releasing it on July 23rd, but just for this one system, the one system that it really probably should be delayed for in the first place, that being the Nintendo Switch. So really, Nintendo Switch owners, you get to play Crysis Remastered before the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, which is something we haven't really seen this console generation. So just a really weird situation. But yes, Crysis will be coming to the Nintendo Switch officially on July 23rd. I of course will be picking up this game and playing it and reviewing it for you guys, because I'm definitely interested to see how this version of the game runs. Will this sort of be a gimped down version, or will it actually bring the Crysis game to the Nintendo Switch that many people remember from the original PC era? I'm not quite sure. Like I said, I've only played Crysis 3, but I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out, and now I don't have to wait all that long. And once again, my Nintendo Switch games for July video is now once again outdated, so thanks Crysis. Thanks. This holiday season, there's going to be a very big battle between the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. But one of the more interesting things about the Xbox Series X is the fact that all of the games that are coming from first-party studios for at least the first year or two will be able to be played on the Xbox One. And some people seem to have a problem with that. There could be thoughts of throttling the games back. Will it really be able to utilize the full power of the Xbox Series X? And really, what's sort of the point in upgrading to the Xbox Series X if it's going to be getting the same games that are available available on the Xbox One. Well, in a recent interview, Phil Spencer talked about this, and he just kind of went off the rails with this situation, basically saying that he feels it's anti-consumer to basically lock games behind systems on launch dates. Sorry, I'm a bit soapboxy with this one. Gaming is about entertainment and community and diversion and learning new stories and new perspectives. And I find it completely counter to what gaming is to say that a part of that is to lock people away from being able to experience those games, or to force someone to buy my specific device on the day that I want them to go buy it in order to partake in what gaming is about. And I think that's a very interesting stance. At first glance, it looks very pro-consumer, but you gotta remember something about the video game industry. It's a business. It's a business. You want to sell things like hardware. Companies can say, oh, we don't really care about things like hardware sales and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you do, because if a thing is not profitable for you, if a thing is not driving sales for you, you're not going to do it. That's why companies sort of fade away. That's why Sega doesn't make consoles anymore. That's why Neo Geo doesn't make consoles anymore, because it wasn't profitable for them. You have to look at it from a business perspective, and I think Phil Spencer does a very good job of tapping into the consumer market with saying very pro-consumer things, but you gotta look at the other side of the coin with this. Now, as far as games being throttled on the Xbox Series X because they have to run on the Xbox One, Phil Spencer actually said this was a meme and went to say the following: the highest fidelity PC games rival anything that anybody has ever seen in video games. So the idea that developers don't know how to build games or game engines or ecosystems that work across a set of hardware, there's proof point in PC that shows that that's not the case. And while I do agree with that sentiment at face value, because obviously PC games have been built like this for years where they're very, very scalable, I still feel that PC gaming and console gaming are still two entirely different beasts. Yes, they have been sort of mingling together as of late, but really, when you look at PC gaming, it's a very different playing field than it is with console gaming. People like to buy new consoles to play new console games. And yes, I do understand the fact that it's easy to develop games for the PC where it's very scalable, but we haven't seen that implemented in console gaming quite yet. And I think that if the Xbox Series X is successful at doing something like that, to where it pretty much is like a PC, where the Xbox Series X runs games at the best fidelity and the Xbox One can still run the game, but there's going to be limitations with it, I think that's fine. It's just a very unfamiliar territory for a lot of console gamers, and that's sort of why you're getting this backlash and this feedback about these comments, because it's not what the console gamers are used to. Now, obviously, they are trying to sort of shift away and maybe sort of persuade console gamers to think more like PC gamers, and that's fine. At some point in time, you probably have to do something like that. But the real question is, will it work? Can they put their money where their mouth is with the Xbox Series X? Obviously, I'm buying an Xbox Series X the day it launches because I'm a video game channel, but as a consumer, I'm not quite sure you've given me a great reason to get the Xbox Series X yet, especially when your big titles are still going to be available on the Xbox One. It's definitely a very interesting experiment, and if it works, it will work well for Microsoft. But if it doesn't work, I just don't know how this is going to play out. So let me know in the comment section down below if day one console exclusives that are only available on one system give you that incentive to pick up that console on day one, or do you think it's an outdated business model that needs to be sort of shifted away from, like what Microsoft is trying to do? And finally, the July Nintendo Direct rumors are still heating up. We've covered this a couple times in the past week or so on the channel. Just to briefly catch you up, this is what is going on. A Twitter account by the name of New Marco Maro, who correctly predicted that Pokemon Mystery Dungeon would be coming to the Nintendo Switch, put up a detailed listing a few days ago talking about things like Zelda being revealed by the end of the summer, and of course Pikmin news coming to the Nintendo Switch in a Nintendo Direct in the month of July. Then an individual by the name of Kelios Cantos, I probably said his name wrong, started talking about a July Nintendo Direct. Now, this individual actually correctly predicted the March Nintendo Direct Mini, so a lot of people are starting to get very excited for this because this individual, once again, has been correct about some things. Well, now we have even more information to sort of stroke this Nintendo Direct fire for the month of July, and it comes to us from our friends at GameStop. Now, GameStop has put up some unidentified SKUs for Nintendo Switch game pre-orders. All of these default placeholder listings have a a December 31st, 2020 release date and that $59.99 price tag, which is standard for games that are either unannounced or don't have a concrete release date. So why would GameStop randomly put in some brand new Nintendo Switch game SKUs if there's not some sort of announcements coming soon? So now everyone's like, Nintendo Direct, it's coming in July, and I'm still kind of on the fence about this. And it's something that we've talked about a lot on this channel, but really, just to me, from things that I've seen and things that I've heard, at best case, you might get a Nintendo Direct Mini in the month of July, or something based on the Mario 35th anniversary games, which are pretty much confirmed to be coming to the Nintendo Switch at this point in time. I don't think anyone is going to be surprised by this. It's been so heavily rumored that you can almost put it in one of the worst kept secrets. And I think those Mario games are going to be very, very awesome experiences, and some of them could be coming out very soon, because really the year is starting to wrap up, and I think that people would be very accepting towards some Mario related announcements for the Nintendo Switch. But really the main reason why I still feel that there's not going to be a full-on Nintendo Direct in the month of July is simply because of what happened yesterday on the Treehouse presentation. Yesterday they did a Treehouse presentation talking about Paper Mario the Origami King, which of course is the next game coming to us for the Nintendo Switch for Nintendo, that being the last game that we know that Nintendo is doing for 2020. Obviously there'll be more games, but as far as announced games, that is all we know. And then they of course included a new game from WayForward Studios, and a lot of people were very excited for this, and it ended up being Bakugan, which I guess is still a somewhat popular franchise that people care about. But to me, this right here proves that there's not going to be a full-on Nintendo Direct for the month of July, because you could have easily done your Paper Mario the Origami King Treehouse presentation and not included Bakugan. I think if you put Bakugan in a Nintendo Direct, a full-on Nintendo Direct, people would have been fine with that game announcement. There wouldn't have been all this sort of hype about a new WayForward game coming to the Nintendo Switch, and then it being this game, something that not a lot of people were really anticipating, and a lot of people don't really seem to be all that interested in. That would have been a solid announcement for a standard Nintendo Direct, because you could have overlooked it if you didn't necessarily care about it and looked at the other games that were available in this July Nintendo Direct. But by putting this game right alongside of Paper Mario the Origami King, sort of hyping up the announcement via social media, you sort of led people to have higher expectations than I think a Bakugan game could really sort of give them. And when you're sort of pitting this game as a standalone thing right next to Paper Mario the Origami King, it definitely left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. I do think you're going to get some game announcements in the month of July from Nintendo, whether that's a Nintendo Direct Mini or a little presentation based on Super Mario games coming to the Nintendo Switch. But as far as a full-on Nintendo Direct, even though there's a lot of smoke with this, I'm not quite sure I could find the fire with it. But let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below. Alright, so that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to let me know what you think of everything in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. I am working on a Deadly Premonition 2 review. That game is just, wow. But yeah, be on the lookout for that. Hopefully Sunday, maybe Monday, I'll have that review ready for you guys. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.